It's a good win. There's a lot of people. It's like Woodstock, except everybody's got their clothes on.
Don't eat a damn snack.
You're like my wife when you get in space. You just get lost.
Short steps are better than long steps. That's the only time in your life you're going to hear short is better than long.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to 614 Headsets, the weekly podcast where we say strategy meets story. We're your hosts. We're three high school football coaches from Columbus, Ohio, committed to bringing you great football content that's both entertaining and educational. We hope you guys had a great Christmas and a great holiday. Quick little update. It's been an exciting time for us. Congratulations to Ryan and Amanda on the birth of their second son. So he's got a lot going on, and we're just glad he's able to still join us and hop on with us. We've got a great couple shows coming up for you as we're still kicking off season 3. If you're just now finding the show for the very first time, make sure you subscribe on any of your favorite platforms or social things at 614 Headsets. Make sure you check out our partners as well. We've got 3 really great partners that help power this show: Fundraising University of Ohio, Storied Rivals, and First Down Playbook. Each one of these companies are the very best in what they do, from fundraising to team media solutions to team play drawing software like First Down Playbook. Make sure you check them out. We absolutely stand behind them and wouldn't recommend anybody else. So on behalf of Ryan, Donovan, and myself, thank you for checking us out. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Let's get into it. As we get started with this episode, 614 Headsets is proud to be sponsored by Fundraising University of Ohio. Fundraising University of Ohio offers a variety of fundraising efforts that helps football teams run profitable, effective, and fast-paced fundraisers designed to raise the most money in the shortest amount of time to reach their fundraising goals. Fundraising University of Ohio is locally owned, operated, and with their 6-step blitz system will help your team maximize profits. Brent Maxwell with Fundraising University will sit down and help you strategize and execute your fundraiser. If you're interested in us running a fundraiser for you, please contact Brent at the letter B Maxwell at fundraising.net or 740-501-8946 to learn how you can get started with fundraising.
All right. What's up, guys? We're back tonight. Hey, episode 62 is a big one for us. We got Trent Voss. He's back at my hometown in Youngstown. Excited to have him on, the defensive backs coach, safeties coach at Youngstown State. I got to meet him he was at Ohio Dominican. He was at my alma mater. Awesome dude. Did a great job recruiting there. Obviously, then went over to Youngstown State and now is doing a great job there. Coach Voss, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you've gotten here.
Oh, man. So coaching has always been a part of my life, coaching football. Like most of us, grew up loving the sport, grew up in a coaching family. Pops, uncles, all that, coached high school ball. Pops actually got to coach me in high school, which was an awesome experience. So that was super cool, man. And then fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Toledo, played there for 4 years. After that, everyone chases a dream for a little bit, did what I could, realized, shit, this isn't going to work. So what's next, right? Get into some form of coaching. You know, crazy thing is, man, my first job, I wasn't sure what level of coaching I wanted to do. I just want to be at a place where I can impact someone, impact some people. So started off $2,000 in my bank account. My wife, my kid, we drove down to South Florida, parked up on the beach, found a little place to stay. And I did some roofing and coached high school football down there. Coached high school football in South Florida for a year, made some money. And then a year later, Jason Candle called me at the University of Toledo, said, hey, I heard you're coaching down there. I want to come back and be a GA. So went to Toledo, then to John Carroll after being a GA for that COVID season, which we're all trying to forget. And after John Carroll for 1 year, was a defensive coordinator at Ohio Dominican, as you mentioned. And then, man, met some good people, had some decent success. My players made me look a lot better than I was, and ended up getting the job here at Youngstown. So it's been awesome, man. It's awesome staff. It's a hell of a city, man, for football. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, these people, they love their football, and we got a great staff here with Coach Phillips and our defensive coordinator, John Hanline, man. They're rock stars.
Man, I asked him yesterday, I was like, hey, where are you living at in Youngstown? And he's living in Boardman, which was our rival in high school. So I'm like, man, you got to get out of that town. That's a terrible spot to be in.
Hey, we got to find where's the best football? Where can I get the best football in? Because Caden's getting pretty good. I got to get him in a league now where he can play some ball, because it can't be Canefield, right?
Yeah, you got to go to Austintown. You got to play at the Austintown Little Falcons, man.
Slight bias, man. I'm gonna let.
You see the AF right up there.
Yeah,
that's still our high school. Yes, sir.
That's good stuff. No, it's an awesome city, man. And it's awesome little sub-cities around it. And we really enjoy it. Like I said, coaching to me has always been about people. Like you get your cliche questions, you get into coaching, right? And your parents are like, what was your ideal place to coach? Man, there's not an ideal place. There's ideal people, right? Because coaching is coaching. So let me just get around some people I enjoy, man, impact some lives and have fun doing it, win some football games.
I love it. That's an awesome perspective. I don't know if I've ever had anybody put it like that. And that's a great little nugget for a lot of people to hold on to. And Coach, I know January is really busy. You guys are in the contact period and just appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Let's get to know Coach Voss a little bit more, Ryan. Get us into your favorite segment here.
The best segment of them all. The Pick Six segment is powered by Story Rivals. Sports, media, championships, friendships, and life lessons are among the most meaningful parts of the athletic competition. They are passionate about preserving them by offering the most unique highlight experience available.
That's right. And Story Rivals delivers your team's content with services designed to change the way you experience these unforgettable moments now and for a lifetime. Story Rivals now offers a complete team apparel and player shop customizable to your program. Contact them by email at info@storyrivals.com to schedule an appointment member of their team, or coaches are also going to be at the state coaches clinic this year with a booth. So make sure you stop by, say what's up there and the guys, give them some love. Ryan, man, congrats, man. Season 3, you killed it. You finally killed the ad read. I'm so proud of you.
Did you see that one? That was a good one, wasn't it?
I was as you were reading, it was like a proud dad. So go ahead and ask my man his first question.
All right, you know how to keep it near Youngstown though, like in around there. So, Coach, what's the best pizza you've had in Youngstown?
Man, it's a toss-up, and I still got to go with just a small little spot, man. Uptown Pizza on Market Street, right? The best one. I'm telling you, man, it's the best. I really do enjoy it.
So you haven't had Wedgwood Pizza yet?
Wedgwood is the very close second. So I think too, it depends what you're going for. They're a little different. They're a little different. I'll tell you what.
Competing styles. Tell us. Are we talking one's like a flat versus a deep dish? What are we going with here?
Yeah, you go into Wedgwood, and I always get it with the family, so you get the huge, like, kind of rectangle shaped pizza.
It's called a sheet. It's called a sheet.
Yeah, it's sheet, man. Listen, you guys get me all the time here, but it's awesome. The Uptown has the more, how can I say it, like flashy pizza where you can get now like a pizza with 3 layers and it's got all this other stuff on it, man. Those two, though, I'm glad you said that because people don't say Wedgwood, and I'm like, man, Wedgwood is the best because that's right where I live. Wedgwood's right down the road. And then Uptown right out the block. So good spots, man. Those places, those are 2 good places.
So you turn your back on where you're from. You don't buy the local pizzas, what you're saying.
Me? Who?
He said that's right down the road. I said he turns his back on the local pizza. He ain't about where he's from. I'm hearing.
Here's the thing. There's so much pizza there too, though. You could go anywhere and get good pizza.
Man, put pizza in your phone and 15 places within 3 miles.
The way this guy talks about pizza, he talks like Youngstown is the capital of pizza.
And I hear that a lot since I've been here. People try and say it is, but I don't know. It's a good argument.
Thank you,
all right, man. We might have to swing down to Youngstown, maybe do a little spring Youngstown State tour, and Sayers can show us around some pizza spot and check out a spring practice or something. I don't know.
I can show you around a lot of spots around there.
I don't know if I want to go everywhere, you know. All right, Donovan, go ahead.
All right, I'll keep the Youngstown theme, not including pizza. For those that aren't like too familiar with the area, what's the most underrated part or undervalued part about Youngstown? If you could give one thing to people, not including pizza.
Easily just the campus, Youngstown State University campus, man. It's beautiful. Our stadium, what we have, our indoors, the on-campus apartments and on-campus dorms on the campus, man, it's beautiful. I'll tell you what, in this transfer portal era, we have so many people. It's not recruiting in high school with the portal guys. And what I mean by that is when you recruit high school, we're developing relationships. And by the way, we took 23 high schoolers this year. So we're still doing that, unlike other schools. But when you look at the portal, you get so many people here who don't have any idea where Youngstown is, and every single one gets on campus, man, and they're like, "Whoa, like I did not know it was like this, Coach." I tell them, like, you got to get here, man. You got to get here. Campus is incredible, man. It's one of the better campuses I've been around.
I love it.
I haven't been there, but I've heard good things. I've had some family go there, and we've obviously had a lot of players go there, which we're proud of. But I'm going to breathe some life into the Pick Six and throw a hot take in. All right. Buy or sell, Coach. Mike Vrabel will be the next head coach of the New England Patriots. What do you think?
Man, I got to go sell for that. I'm not buying it. Not buying that.
Okay.
I just that doesn't seem like a solid move to me, just organically. And then you got to look like I'm not sure else who would be up for that. I got to be honest, man. I'm not sure, but I don't think he's a fit. I really don't. And I'm going to be honest, slightly biased. I'm not a huge fan. But I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem right. What's your take?
I think the stars are aligning. It could, but I could see it going another way. But my man's changing his Twitter picture to back when he was a Patriot and all types of stuff. Like, too many stars are aligning to think it's going to happen. But I don't know. I just thought defensive guy would be a great hot take for you.
Yeah. No, I feel you. We'll have to see. Well, most of the time when moves like that happen, they try and be as sneaky as possible, try and be quiet with it. So we'll see.
No, for sure. So I got my last question. So what's one defensive coordinator that you look up to, or like that you take a lot of your coaching from?
John Haycock, Iowa State.
Yeah.
I had 3 defensive coordinators at the University of Toledo, and John Haycock was by far the most influential. Yeah, so without a doubt, I think the way that he goes about his business, both as a coach and as a human, yeah, man, definitely John Haycock. First guy right away you ask that question that comes to my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
That's a good dude.
Coach,
Great.
I'll stick with football for my last question. 4 teams left. Semifinals start tomorrow for the playoffs. Who ends up winning the whole thing? Who wins the national championship this year?
Man, I know what everyone wants to say. I'll go with it, man. I think Buckeyes.
I do too. Donnie, say it. What do you want to say? Go ahead.
I got nothing to say.
I know it's
You wanna say
controversial.
something about Coach Trent?
And listen, here's my defense, though. I'm not a Buckeye fan. I'm born and raised in Michigan, as a matter of fact. But I do have respect, and I do think that they played a little wavy and a little emotional in the regular season. But I think they just look different, man. And I think when you watch some trends of teams, there's certain teams that they have issues, and they're long-term issues. And then there's other teams like Ohio State that I think just had some issues, issues. They weren't long-term issues. And, man, it looks like they got that stuff figured out real quick. So I think that if they play at their highest level, I love their scheme too. That would be the only bias I would have defensively. Y'all can say, people say what they want. I love their defensive scheme. Man, I got to go with the Buckeyes. I think when they play lights out, they're pretty good.
Look,
It's like the last team. It's like the last Buckeyes national championship. They're like peaking at the right time and playing their best ball when it matters. And I think I agree with you that maybe
they look so good.
they needed the things that happened in the regular season to be where they're at now. And I would agree in it. They keep firing the way they are. They definitely seem like a favorite. That's for sure.
Donnie wants to say something. Look at him. He say something.
Go ahead, Donnie. Go ahead.
He hates the coaching staff there. Like Donnie doesn't think they can get it done.
Hey, Texas would be no joke.
I didn't think they were going to beat Oregon. I didn't know if they were going to beat Tennessee. If they beat Texas, they're winning the national championship. Notre Dame is not beating Ohio State, and Penn State is not beating Ohio State. They could revert back to whatever they were in the middle of the season. Neither of those teams are beating Ohio State if they beat Texas. So this is essentially your play-in game. You play that, you win this game, you're in. And like I've said, you win it, all's forgiven. You don't, then we're right back to square one. But I got a lot of confidence, like you, Coach Voss. We'll see. Seems something seems to turn the page. So
yeah, that's good. I agree with that 100%, man. It's this game. It's going to be Texas or OSU.
All right, Coach. Last question. 2025, personally or professionally, what's one thing you're looking forward to or trying to get accomplished this year?
Probably personally, obviously, I got a baby on the way, so that's big time. Want to get that squared away. Man, professionally, just want to get closer with my players. Like, I'm going into year 2, and as you guys know, you get to year 2, it becomes so much more enjoyable. You kind of feel like who you're coaching, the personalities, the backgrounds. And I think there's nothing more enjoyable, man, when you start to understand your players and can connect with them. So professionally, man, that's what I'm really looking excited to. Even just getting back, like, it was awesome to see them because Christmas break was a nightmare. Like, the portal, it was a nightmare. Whoever decided to open the portal on a holiday, like, I don't wish good things upon them. But it's like, you get back and you see your guys, man. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to continue to develop a relationship with these guys and just get them to where they want to go. That's my fulfillment. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do it. Let's get them to.
I love it. That's great, man. That's a Pick Six segment brought to you by Storied Rivals. And hopefully we learn a little bit more about Coach Voss. Let's get into this main thing and actually get into some football now.
All right, our main topic tonight with Coach Voss is the idea of disguising defensive coverages and what that looks like, kind of the ins and outs of it. And our main topic tonight is sponsored by First Down Playbook. First Down Playbook is the nation's leading playbook and play design software with over 35,000 professionally drawn and editable team plays with notes and full playbooks start from. You'll be on your way to getting the edge over the competition. First Down Playbook can be your entire team management system with the practice schedule, scripts, custom quarterback wristbands, and more. If you use the code headsets24 or mention our show, you get $100 off what's pretty much already the most affordable option in today's game. So links in our show notes. You could message us on Twitter for more information if you want. Again, great time in the offseason to reevaluate your needs with some of the best software, most affordable software out there for you guys.
That's good, man. You got the first question, man. You know how it goes. Whoever reads it gets the first one.
Yeah. Coach, I'll put this down because I was curious off the top of this. You mentioned one of your defensive coordinators from Toledo was a big influence. Is there a certain coach, when you look at the idea of wanting to disguise defensive coverages, wanting to be creative with that, is there a coach that maybe you interacted with or you see it in the college level or NFL level that you say, okay, they do a really good job at this. They are inspiration, if you want to say, like you take a lot of examples of anyone in particular that sticks out to you from this concept?
Yeah, man, definitely. I think as coaches, like we all get our ideas and they all stem from our influence. To me, when you look at disguise, right, I think you break it down into three families, right? You're going to have your coach who calls the play, right? And the players know, hey, when I call this play, the design is ingrained in it, right? I'm going to call some type of cover 2 and the disguise is in it, right? Then you have those coaches who will tag disguises to get the players where they're hoping to align them. And then you got the disguise where you just always hold the shell, right? So I think if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, I've studied each and every one to see which one is best. I think John Haycock at Iowa State, I think that's a very great example of, man, those guys just hold their shell all the time. And obviously with 3 high, it's a million times easier, right? You play the ball, 4 eyes, spill the ball. And that's not the point. But you look at the way those guys hold the shell, I think that's beautiful. So even from a 2 high standpoint, without 3 high safeties, those guys hold the shell. If you look at someone I've interacted with, you use those words. Honestly, one of the first guys in that second part that come to my mind is Joe Schaefer. He's the safeties coach at Syracuse. Joe Schaefer has been an influence in my life from Toledo through helping me get my first jobs into college football. He was at Toledo, went to John Carroll, then Texas A&M, and now he's safeties coach at Syracuse. And so when I bought into a program after him, when he left, he had that system where he wanted the shell, but he could call, hey, I'm going to call this certain call. And you guys know, no matter what the call is, this call means show 1 high, show 0, show something else. Like it was ingrained in the call. So he did that. Now, as far as just overall disguise, Greg Schumann, without a doubt, I could sit down and watch Georgia all day and just watch their defense, predominantly in third down, third and longs. And you just, man, they are dropping guys from every which angle, different every time. Every cover 1 is cover 2. Every cover 2 is vice versa. And then right when you think you've caught on to the pattern, cover 2 stays cover 2. And you know what I mean? But it's an inverted cover 2. So those would be the guys I think the 2, Haycock and Schaefer, I interact with. But then just watching Georgia's defense, man, they do a phenomenal job.
Georgia's defense is nasty. We send a ton of videos to each other in our coaches group chat, like the defensive side with all of his stuff, like third downs. They have a lot of pressure pass where they're dropping other guys as well. And you just don't know who's going to be in coverage or where they're coming from. That's how they get so many turnovers on third down.
Yeah, man, it's impressive. It's impressive. And they do it with a very systematic set of rules. Like it's not a free, like that stuff is awesome. I've gotten my hands on some of their playbook stuff, just prying it from other coaches, and it's pretty good stuff.
Coach, talk to us as we get started. What's the importance of disguising defensive coverage schemes in modern football? As we start the topic, why do you do it? Maybe why do some teams not do it? I feel like it's an identity. Some teams do it. I think it's growing. And then there's some teams who don't do it at all. Like, why do you think it's important?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I've coached in both. Lineup and play is sometimes the answer. I think in this day and age, you have so many eyes and so many cameras on the game. Defensive coordinators are way too smart. Right. Shout out to you. All right.
Kyle, don't say
hey, no, but I mean it, man. You guys are geniuses. And at the end of the day, every single series now you're watching our defense on an iPad. So if we're going to sit here in the same stuff, we're even more vulnerable than we used to. And I think offensive coordinators are brilliant and you can't beat them, but you can beat the 18-year-old quarterback. You can confuse him. And you can confuse the receivers. And if you can throw off timing, right? Offensive coordinator, quick game, passes, timing, everything. The simple inside to outside, and those are just simple disguises. It's not always the whole defense. You're overhang playing outside and then bumping inside right before the ball snap. Like at the college level, these receivers, and say my high school, I don't mean it like that, but we at the college level, we spend so much time in the receiver room on releases and how to read release and how to get to the timing. You start a guy, you don't want to mess with the whole defense because coaches think it's too much. Hey, take your overhang on the slot and align him outside leverage. And that receiver is going to process his release. And then once that cadence gets in, right before the snap him inside. If that guy's running a slant, you just mess his whole plan up. So sometimes it's even simple things. It's not, hey, I got a safety 20 yards deep and he's going to go play the flats and it's some crazy disguise. It's, hey, we went from off corners and outside leverage overhang, and those corners walked down and then the safety went inside leverage. And now everyone's release was thrown off. The quarterback didn't have the proper timing. And so I think it allows you to dictate more of the game in a game that's really spread offensive minded. And I think it does. And obviously RPOs, that creates issues for that, showing them, hey, we don't want you to do this. So we're going to play a coverage to stop that. But even when we're not in the coverage to stop that, we're going to make it look like we are. And you're going to believe it because we've been doing it all game. So you get in some of those rhythms. But honestly, to me, every single play now we come off in college as well. High school's had it for a year, I think, a year or two, iPads. Like
a little bit more than that, like five, 6 or plus. I think it's been around, but definitely it's a more of a modern thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a modern thing. We just got there. We just got that. We ain't had them for years. We've been
depending on when you got it and if yours is working that week.
Hell yeah,
if you got the money for it.
You got it now, though, man. The new weight.
Yeah, we got it now.
Yeah,
dude,
but
don't let this guy fool you. This dude bought a machine to paint the field for him. Don't act like he's out here with crumbs. The dude's got a machine. He FaceTimed me. He was so excited to show me his templates and things he's gonna do.
Now, here's the thing: we've done a good job there.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. But seriously, guys, like the iPad thing to me, that changes the dynamic. I think I don't want to be the coach that takes this change in college football too lightly. Some of these stats, man, you got 13 people looking at an iPad. They're not going to miss a thing. They're not going to miss a thing. Like. So you got to be able to mess with the quarterback because it's going to be really hard to mess with the offensive coordinator.
That kind of gets me into like another thing I was thinking about as you head into the weekend and you start breaking down an opponent. Do you have a checklist or things you look for? Like, how do you evaluate your opponent or evaluate their tendencies, and how does that determine what you're going to do with your coverage or disguising it? What do you look for? Are there some key things people could start from?
Yeah, when it comes to just disguise, I think the easiest thing is what if they have trouble with, and then in break routes, what do they like? Let's just start from ground one, right? Like in breakout breaks. Okay, we turn on film and within a game, I'm seeing posts, I'm seeing digs, I'm seeing verticals down the seam, things of that nature. Like now you start to say, okay, hey, obviously this team is a big threat team. They got the best receiver at the X. He runs tons of posts. He gets behind the safeties. So our game plan is to play a lot of one high. Right. Okay. Now what that's going to mean is if our game plan was to play a lot of one high, then our disguise is going to be one high when we get into 2, when we get into 4, when we get in, because we want your disguise has to be your tendencies. If you line up in college football and you start showing disguises and it's coverages you don't run, nobody's falling for that. So you have to be aware of your tendencies and, okay, we need to have a post safety this game. Let's say 60, 70% of the game. Okay, then I'm telling my safeties, hey, the other 30, like we got to make sure we're showing some type of post read, and we'll tag that. So I guess I was ill-spoken. We'll add our tags. That's the way we do it. But yeah, I think you look at that and it's the same thing. Hey, these guys are attacking the seams like crazy. Shoot, if we got cover 3 in the game plan sparingly, but it's mainly quarters, guys, we want to hold the 2 high shell at all times. So even when we think that we're going to be in a cover 3, we're not telling the quarterback, hey, attack the seams, right? Like, again, just trying to make the quarterback think just for a second. Like, you're never going to fool everyone. Like, you do it probably once or twice. It's probably 1 or 2 times a game that you literally blow everyone's mind, and that's when you get takeaways, right? But normally it's just slowing people down, and people say, man, this offense isn't clicking. They're inconsistent. They're this, they're that. A lot of times that's due to the shells and the coverages and the disguises that defense is showing.
When you see an offense have some type of success against like your disguise coverages, what is it typically that you see them doing when they're trying to get an edge against you guys? Is it fast tempo? Is it more complex route schemes? Is it a little bit of the RPO? Is there something that you see consistency wise or offenses do a good job combating those disguises?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Tempo, and then you see them a lot of hard count. You hard count every single time. You're going to get tempo, and they're going to complement the tempo with hard count, and then splits. That's what we got hit with a lot. We started to show a lot of one high and rock to quarters, and I noticed in one of our games that the team, they started widening their receiver splits. And I tell my guys, hey, and that's not athletic ability, that's ability to line. If I tell you to line up somewhere and lie, and you look at the splits and the receivers and you don't think you can do your job, get rid of the disguise. Get rid of it. It's too big of splits. Coach, I can't get to the number one receiver from the middle of the field. His split is too wide. Ball's on the hash. He's far. Get out of it, right? So I tell my guys, man, don't be too cute, because if you do that, you'll get burnt, right? You want to do it, but the moment in your head, not in Coach Voss's head. So you can't be wrong. The moment in your head, if you say, I can't do my job from here, don't do it then. Go line up where you can do your job.
I like that flexibility, man. That's good.
Tell a safety in the middle, kind of lets him play a little more free, right? Like you got a safety that you got to cross the middle. It's like, okay, you're going to be here. And he's like, nope, can't make that play, but I get a little closer and then I can go play my best of my ability or be a natural athlete without the mental doubt of it all, of being a crap 5 yards away. Lets them play a little more free too if they have that own decision in their head.
Yep, 100%. Man, you guys all played ball. You watch film, yeah, but sometimes the ball snapped and you're like, oh shit, man, that guy was a lot faster than I thought. And I got to play with a different cushion. I got to play with a different angle. I didn't expect that. So
it happened to Ryan a lot when you look at his stats from college.
Yeah, that is a lot. It does
ability align, my guy. Ability align. Just get
that's it. That's it. But Coach, how much would you say that you guys, to be able to disguise your coverage and disguise yourself, do you guys have to self-scout yourself and be able to get the data to be able to confuse the teams? Do you guys do a lot of self-scout and show your players that as well? Like, what's that process look like for you with your players and showing them how to disguise it and when to do it?
Man, that's a freaking awesome question. Absolutely. You're asking players to lie. So it's got to be their art. It's got to be theirs. It can't be us. It has to be, you have to train them on, guys, this is what we played a lot of in the following weeks. One thing I'll do is, if we have a week, say we have a week where we're going into a quarters game plan, a 2-high game plan. When we get to 7-on-7, I'll script cover 1, cover 2, and I'll tag our cover 2 disguise to look like 1. So now we can literally be in film after practice, and we have a great offensive coordinator who works with us to give me similar formations. So now I show them, hey guys, here's cover 1. Look how you lined up. The next play, the offense was in the same formation. We're in a disguise, and this is how you lined up. Like, these two need to look exactly the same, right? So you're training them to, like, hey, what do you look like when you play 1? Hey, what do you look like when you play quarters, right? Because we'll even disguise blitzes. And I train my guys on, I want you to go watch every blitz that you took, like a nickel off the edge, every blitz, because you have to know what your body demeanor looks like when you're really blitzing, right? Because how many guys will, you tell them to fake blitz, they start jumping around and do it, move it, and you're like, that's not what you look like when you blitz. So go watch yourself. So you train them that way. But you absolutely will self-scout, Ryan. We'll self-scout every 4 weeks. And we try not to go into depth with our players. We will as coaches. But with our players, it's mostly 1-high, 2-high pressure. And we try and keep it with that. We feel like if we give all our players, why we called, when we called, personnel we called it in, sometimes it's a little mind-boggling to them. Guys, 1-high, 2-high. Because especially in the disguise world, that's all you got to know, right? Like, that's all you got to know. As far as coverage, we'll do blitz stuff too. We can talk about that. But yeah, man, a lot of it. Players got to know. We want it to be art. Like I said, it's not black and white how to disguise, man. It's art. I've had some guys that align. I tell them, dude, look at your feet. They don't even notice. Like I said, OCs are smart. Hey, every single time you're really in quarters, you're in a left foot stance. Now you're in a right foot stance in your disguise. Like, your feet are giving it away, man. You're telling them it's bullshit. They got to study themselves, man. They got to do it.
It brought up an interesting thing in my mind. When we think of an offensive play caller and great OCs, like some game weeks, they're putting in plays to layer things and show you something so they can give you a switch up later on. Hey, I'm going to run this week so I could set something up for the next week when we play a team. Are you doing that on the defensive side too with like coverage stuff? Is that how things are going? Hey, we're going to show this and do this, but we know next week we're doing it because we're trying to set something up off of that.
Man, Coach, 100%. 100%. So we're always trying to,
you dirty dog.
We're trying to find the tendencies that we tried to break. I think the biggest thing is when you talk about that is like my favorite one, honestly, my favorite one is we'll get in a lot of disguises, right? Show one, play two, show two, play one. And then maybe a couple times it does. Well, now what we have in our arsenal, and the only way you have to do it, you have to do this. Week 1 through, I had my safeties when we were in cover 1. I made sure, and you would keep track of them. If we ran, say, one high coverage 20 times, I made them align in one high about 10 out of the 20. So we put on film, hey, Youngstown State does align in a one high safety look. They do play that. Because otherwise, man, you have your own tendencies. Hey, coach, every time they're in one high, every time they show you the coverage, it's not real. Now we got to have a good mixture of 50% show and fake, 50% we're showing it and we're running it. So you don't know if we're BSing or not.
I like that. You brought up a point. You talked about film study with your tendencies and things. Older players, I think, get really good at being savvy and stemming late and knowing your scheme and how things are done. Other than that self-scout, what do you do to help younger or less experienced players become comfortable with this disguise game?
Indie.
Okay.
And it's valuable. It is expensive. It is expensive, right? And if I feel like it's too expensive, we'll get out there before practice. I do feel like it's just a feel thing. So I'll show him what's a feel thing and build confidence, right? Build confidence. I coached at D3 school for 1 year. I used to show this year I showed some of my D1 players D3 film of guys playing a half from the middle of the field. Hey, young man, if he can do it, no offense to him, that's why I'm not going to say names. Hey, if he can do it, you can do it. Because a player, coach, it's so far. Dude, you're 6'2" and you run like a 4.5, like a 4.5. Do it. You can do it. You'll be fine. Like, you know what I mean? So you try and build confidence through film. You try and build confidence showing it can be done. Because I had a group of safeties that never disguised this year. And half the time they looked at me crazy. So I think film to build them confidence, indie reps, and then you have to encourage the shit out of failure in practice. You have to, listen, go have productive failure. Go have productive failure. You need to know what your limits are. You need to know how you can truly disguise without giving up the big play. And if you don't do that in practice, you're not going to win. And we're blessed with a head coach that understands the operations of growing as a team. We're not there to beat each other in practice. So we have an awesome head coach in Doug Phillips. Safety gives up a post. He came into my office. What the hell is this? Coach, I was trying to get him to disguise it. Like he got beat. I pull up 3 clips later, him playing over top of it. And I said, now in the game, this is what you get when he's understanding of those things. You know what I mean? Like I said, film, indie, and then productive discomfort in practice. Like you got to do what you think you can't do, your limitations.
Awesome. Ryan, you got one last question for my man?
Coach, how different is it running those schemes and running those different things from a D3 to a D2 to a D1 school now for you? Like, what has been the biggest difference jumping each level? Like from D3 to D2, it was the biggest difference, and D2 to D1, what's been the biggest difference, would you say?
Ryan, you mean as far as this scheme of...
Yeah, being able to run those schemes and being able to have the athletes to do it.
No difference.
Yeah.
John Carroll University was probably the best I've been at.
Yeah.
Man, those guys could lie about everything. It was awesome. It was beautiful.
Super smart cats out there, right?
Yeah. So I would say in my experience, you got to understand, man, I'm fortunate to be where I am. I haven't been coaching for a long time, but 3 programs I've been at, the D3 school was by far. Now, it was ingrained into them. It took time. So let me not discredit some of my cats. Like my best year at ODU with disguises was obviously year 3. Mm-hmm. Right? Like at John Carroll, they had Joe Schaefer as a defensive coordinator for a couple years before I got there. And then I got to coach under Jeff Long, and that experience was awesome, man. But they knew it, right? I necessarily don't think there's a difference, man. It's just like Coach said, though. It does take work. It is a little expensive at times if you feel like your guys aren't clicking with it. And that, to me, honestly, Coach, to flash back to your second question, maybe that's why some guys stay away from it. They don't want to put in the time that you're gonna have to do to do all this stuff. Offensive coordinators, some guys don't want to motion and trade and shift and run on balance. I don't want to do all that. Like, It's expensive. Yeah, I think there is no difference though, Ron, man. You just got to find consistency in guys that understand it.
Absolutely.
I love hearing that it's expensive. I think it's a really important point. I just had that conversation with a coach the other day about outside zone. We were talking about what he wanted to do next year, and he talked about this. And I looked down and I said, "So what's your perimeter or outside run going to be?" And he said that, and it triggered me saying, like, it's an expensive run. Like, if you're going to get really good at wide zone, outside zone, like, it's easy in theory, but man, is it expensive. And I think that's an important point for a lot of people to know. So, Coach, man, we wish you a lot of luck in season 2. Take care of our guys from Gahanna. We appreciate you coming on. We're going to have to make it down to Youngstown. I want to see Ryan's spot and hear all these pizza places, and we'd love to come check it out and say what's up.
I might get beat up on campus in Youngstown. He might get beat up there.
Tell my man,
it
Coach
was different
Gamble,
in the 80s.
Hey, tell my man, Coach Gamble, I said hello. Tell him I said what's up.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. Anytime, you're welcome. You're welcome in Y-Town. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. It's been awesome.
Wrap it up, Brian. Let's go. Let's close this thing out.
Guys, we appreciate you. Listeners, make sure you download, subscribe. Make sure you guys get with our sponsors. Make sure you get with Fundraising University, First Down Playbook. Make sure you get with Story Rivals. Make sure you guys just comment. Give us suggestions on what you guys want to hear. And as always, we appreciate all our listeners. Thank you, Coach Voss.
Absolutely, man. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah. Hey, see you, Coach.